in what ways have you seen toxic masculinity in women?
Oh, you want to go first?
Well,
because I'm gonna tell you like this, LGBT community, get ready, because I'm about to come for y'all, and y'all don't understand how I'm about to come for y'all, but I'm coming, and you have to deal with it, because I'm coming.
I should be the one to speak on that.
I'm sure gonna say what the fuck I gotta say.
The question had to do with toxic masculinity in women. Shit.
Fuck that.
No,
wait.
No.
Getting his thoughts together.
When you've been without a proper male influence in your immediate environment, so you figure it out on your own. You know, like my mother was a mother of three. It was three different baby dads, and each one that came in along the way, they always found a way to find themselves out.
You telling your mama business? You telling mama business? Don't do that.
I wasn't.
You telling my business? Don't do that. Mine's a lady. Don't do her.
Mama's
don't do mine.
don't know her face. You tell mama business.
Don't tell my business like that.
I wasn't. Well.
All right, go ahead. Start it over, T. Start it over.
No, I didn't.
My bad. My bad. Start over.
Just say, TJ, you didn't say that bad. Just say.
The point I was making in that was that the constant was her. It wasn't them. And so in her having to assume more roles than what she was supposed to, her adjustment to it creates the toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't trying to put everything out there like that.
No, I just bullshit. I could
really be his ass, but you know, I
don't give a fuck either way.
But you know, I appreciated her because she didn't stay a victim. You know, in all of it, she found a way to understand her role and how it all played out, and made the most of it. At the end of the day, she was the superhero, like Don was talking about earlier. And she, in any struggle that there was, I may have seen it, but I didn't. She never allowed herself to fall victim to it. But you know, the trauma was there, the drama was there. Mm-hmm. But some people handle it better than others, and in that comes your toxicity.
So almost having multiple roles, right? Like having multiple roles.
Yeah, whenever they are made to figure that definition out on their own because of the absence of a real definition. Yeah, I
think that's I'll say before Dom goes, because I know he got something profound, so I want to give him the right amount of space.
Now look, fuck that. I'm gonna tell y'all motherfuckers what I got to fucking say.
Go.
Y'all gonna fucking listen to me. Now, let me tell you something. To y'all lesbian couples, look, just because both of y'all is women, that don't mean y'all can just be beating on each other and that shit ain't domestic abuse. Because y'all motherfuckers is stylish as a motherfucker. Y'all pretty. Y'all got a lot of benefits to how y'all get down. But stop wanting to fight and bloody each other up, please, because it makes your partners like me nerves bad. Because then I got to come get you. And that's all I got to say. But in terms of outside of the joke and shit, toxic masculinity in women, a lot of it is, my bad. You got the camera to you? How the fuck you had that motherfucker when shit can be seen like that? All right, so I look at it like the same way we kind of say, when white people say, well, black people can be racist, and then a black person will say, well, black people can't be racist, right? because we were the receivers of oppression and then we responded to the oppression. What I feel like we're failing to realize is that underneath our black male oppression, there's like black woman oppression. There's like if white women have a certain oppression, they may feel, I can't speak for them, they would have to speak for themselves. Just like black women have a certain oppression, they might feel you can't necessarily speak on any of that. You have to let a black woman speak on it. But from what I feel, when you're dealing with a society based on patriarchy and all kind of bullshit, you're the oppressed demographic. So you're responding to being oppressed. So it's one of those things where, although everybody should treat everybody, the way they should be treated, sometimes, it is good to look at things like that because a person might be exhibiting their own, get on. You know what I mean? Some shit you got to respect about their body. You know what I mean? Women got to be taught. My little sister, I remember my mama having to tell my little sister, older than she can really even comprehend, about make sure she don't sit on no man lap, make sure she don't put her drink down, just, stuff like that, because you're having to be taught how to make sure you don't get raped. Imagine that shit. Mm-hmm. You're being taught that you didn't ask to have a vagina, but for whatever reason, it is the most crazy thing on the planet, and men will take it even if you don't want them to. And you have to be taught as a child, a man is asking you to let me be romantic and let me do these things to win your trust. And as a woman in your mind, you also had to be taught how to not get yourself sexually assaulted. And watch your friends come and tell you in high school things happen to them over and over and over again. So I understand why, to me, I feel like some form of chivalry is important, or some form of showing yourself humble to at least seeing the influence in the person, seeing the real humanity in the person, respecting that just like Tony is who he is, his wife is a whole gangster. Like her influence is just as strong, if not stronger than his, because that fuels him. Like, and when we can view women that way, like the most fertile women on the planet, Yoruba women, I think that's how you pronounce it. They did a whole study. These women have the highest number of twins, like out of every place in the world. These are the most fertile women on the planet, and they're black women. So as a black man, and like if you understood your influence and understood where your influence came from, and understood the source of your influence, and we going back to saying all humanity came from Africa, and the most fertile women on the planet are in Africa. You know what I mean? Like, so if that's what you came from, which everybody did, everybody should say that. Anytime you feel a rhythmic pride in your heart to stand up for yourself, that's your motherfucking African pride coming through. Even if you're a white lady, you got African in you. So anytime you feel like you wanted to stand up for something that was Queen Amina beating on a motherfucking jump after she had then fought her brother to take over the kingdom of Zaria and fucking led a all-woman warrior crew to drive out Britain a couple times and all kind of wild shit. That was that shit inside of you. And if you understand a woman's influence from that regard, then you also understand how nature shows you femininity all the time, how it should be respected, and how as a man, because of how society is constructed, you have an opportunity to actually selectively empower a strong woman that's already strong already. You can do some fly shit. Tony know what I'm talking about. He's shaking his head now. You can find a woman that's a boss already, damn near feminist and everything. Empower that lady the right way, and she will die for you.
Man,
it's crazy.
It'd be the best thing
I'm telling you.
Africa's called the motherland for a reason.
And she got a big booty on the side. You ever seen how she built?
So look, I want to say this real quick. I want to go back to that lesbian couples thing because I got some friends who are in a same-sex relationship as well, and there's some domestic violence stuff going on there. And I want to talk about this on another day, but I want to get some other people involved who are in the community. I really think what happens with that, man, is there's, what I would say is a lack of rules of engagement, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're dating a woman, even if that woman come to you and she got a big ass fucking 2x4 and she finna swing it at you, to grab that 2x4 and to hold her arms, sit her down, and you walk your ass out the room, right? But Dom, if me and you was on the street and we didn't know each other, and I walked at you with that 2x4, that's a whole different thing. We boxing or other things, right? I think with same-sex relationships, I think that when we see with that is there's no rules of engagement. If it's two homegirls in the room, they slap shit at each other, they might get into a little fist fights, whatever. Now take that into a relationship, right? Two women. I'm mad. So I do what I would do to my homegirls. Boom. But the context is different because we're in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that same thing goes on with men, where like I think the rules of engagement, it's hard to differentiate that context. Where people I don't think in the mind goes and says, well, this is my partner and not, you know, my best friend. So then they take on, that's what I would say. They take on, you know, then putting hands on each other.
So what we're doing is we're baiting the LGBT community to come and join us. Is what we're doing, ladies. Ladies, all of you who were just microaggressively triggered just now, I did it on purpose because I want y'all to come join us. So if you ain't gonna come on here and express your feminine side, then I don't want to hear your negative comments. All I want to hear is positive input and what we can do better to build this dialogue to be more fire. And that's all we want because that's your motherfucking influence.